India is on a mission to become a Viksit Bharat by 2047, a nation where innovation drives growth, opportunity empowers every citizen, and technology bridges every gap. It's a future where progress is inclusive, sustainable, and proudly made in India. Driving this transformation are India's visionary business leaders of homegrown enterprises who are redefining innovation, inclusion, and growth. From technology to sustainability, from local impact to global reach, they are the visionaries of a Viksit Bharat. TV9 Network, in association with SAP, presents Visionaries of Viksit Bharat, celebrating the minds shaping our nation's future. In this episode, we feature Dodla Sunil Reddy, Managing Director of Dodla Dairy Limited, a visionary leader revolutionizing India's dairy sector. From empowering over 1 lakh farmers across southern India to expanding Dodla's footprint to over 10 states, his journey reflects the spirit of innovation, inclusivity, and self-reliance. Under his leadership, Dodla Dairy has become one of India's most trusted dairy brands, delivering quality, nutrition, and growth to millions of homes every single day. Meet the man transforming India into the dairy powerhouse of the world.
First of all, thanks to TV9 and SAP for giving me this opportunity to be on your show. Engineering to dairy was not that big a transformation. Predominantly, I'm talking about because we are now a 30-year-old operation, and in the early days of when I joined college and I passed out of college 91, 92, there were not that many opportunities, at least for me, from an engineering standpoint of view. And being from an agricultural family, my easier connect was to anything based on agriculture, right? So when we started looking at what to do, and we are also the product of the delicensing era, where milk was just a delicensed from being from a cooperative to the private sector also. So opportunities like that were far. So lots more opportunities, not far, lot more opportunities came in our way. And for me, whether it is engineering or any other subject that we all study, it's only the process of thought process that matters, right? So engineering gave me a structural thought process of what to do. And more importantly also, my family, we come from an agricultural family, and the connect was easier. My father was into, paper manufacturing, which was dependent on the farmers for getting straw, which was then converted to paper or other such products. And the opportunity of dairy, when you read a paper comes across, you were able to process it and get it going.
So it was a natural transition.
A transition and an easier transition. And also, I was not that bright a student to get a job to be picked up into.
I don't buy that. Framed your point of view around running a business and how to overcome those challenges for any such future entrepreneur in dairy segment.
So I think I'll just take it as 3 major points. First is the initial financial hurdle that you have, which sort of came to me as a little bit more easier than most of the people, because I had my father who was at least able to cut a check for me to a portion of the money that I required to start the operation. Followed by that was when that was not enough, and the size and scale was not enough.
Right.
The government in those days had development banks which would actually bet on a project and give you money on a bank, and you could go bankable that. And the third most important thing is I was one of the earliest recipient of a venture capital funding that came in. So these two are more on the financial side that started shaping my resilience in terms of understanding the value of money. And the third most important thing was people. So the day I started, you can call it luck, you can call it intuition. The core team that came together, who currently today I have a colleague of mine called BVK, who is the CEO of the company. So from the day one of operations when he started, he had come on board. So he would take a large portion of the burden of operations. I had my father who liked his civil construction and technology, and he would be involved in getting that done. I took an liking towards the finance because I was running around to raise money, to get money, to see how to put it together. So it's a blend of a lot of things that came together, right time, right place, right people that come together. So it's money, people, and process and systems that I think are the most important things that come in. Once you start, yes, the first years are not that great. You go through a certain bad time, and that's when friends and family do help.
Okay. 3 decades on, here we are. You are currently operational in 11 states. You've also moved globally. You're operating in Africa. What were some of the key milestones that brought you here? Of the 3 decades, almost 3 decades, 3 years too short. But run us through some of the key milestones of these.
Like I said, the small acquisition would have been the first milestone, which even till today, if you look at Dodla's growth, it's 50% through M&As and 50% through greenfields that we build on our own. So we learned the skill set of acquiring something else, although at a pretty early stage in life. Then, like I said, when I had a venture capital on board who started questioning me every year, why the hell are you doing business for? To give it in a more simpler terms, when a venture capital comes on board and he has to exit in 5 years, so he comes to you and says, why don't you sell your company, right?
Achha.
Because he will make money, you will make money. To get over the materialistic pressure of making personal money, but rather than thinking in terms of how do you create institutions. Then the third point, like I told you before itself, when 2 or 3 people came together to start off with, how do you work with other people, right? So it's not my strength alone, it's the strength of the core people who came in the early days, maybe the 10, 15 of them.
Right. So how do you do that? I mean, you're currently working with almost 1.5 lakh farmers,
1.5 lakh farmers, 5,000
8,000
people.
plus villages. How do you build that trust within communities?
See, trust within communities is, you should believe in yourself saying that I'm not going to cheat anybody, right? I will pay what is right, I will pay what I can do on time, or rather tell them I cannot pay. So a simple example for that is, suppose if in the early days, if I have to make a farmer payment on 15th day and I'm not able to pay it, the standard thing is I'll pay it tomorrow and try to procrastinate and say tomorrow, right? Instead of saying I don't have money and I don't know when I can pay you. Because at that point of time, it's very difficult to say I don't have money and I can't pay you. From there to today, it's 1,50,000 farmers. But when it was a 10,000 farmers, is how do you get the visibility of it? How do you get what's going on, right? I mean, which farmer is being paid right? Who's not being paid? Is the system not working? People work for a while. I mean, you know 10 people, you can talk to them, you trust them. Beyond the 10 people, when it becomes 500 people, then processes and systems have to take over. Then technology has to come into sort of blend all that going. So suppose if you today tell us to say, do you have visibility of 1,50,000 farmers? Yes, into a single number of how much of milk did I get, what price did I get, is it right? We have bots running on it to tell you whether there's been any variation that somebody is doing.
Okay.
So that kind of work has to be put together and done.
Right. So I have to ask you therefore, since you mentioned technology and we are sitting here today hoping to understand how fast you scaled up, what were some of the factors that led you to success. AI, machine learning, automation are the words that everybody is talking about. How do these words play into your business on a day-to-day basis?
So 98, there was no AI, there was no machine learning, there was not much of that. Right? So AI, 97, 95, 96, when we incorporated, started operation 98. We had home-built legacy kind of a systems that run on, we were trying to do. So it was always being that one step ahead of the curve of your competitor or whatever you do with tech. Then from there, say from the legacy system, then we moved to, since today SAP is also a part of this, then we moved into SAP, right? The transformation of moving into SAP way earlier and getting visibility over a larger swath of data. Then when the country moves forward and communication, like cell phones come into play, when internet comes into play, being in a good environment of tech and adapting all these into that comes into play, right? Towards today banking, to UPI payment, and so much of technology world that developed. So since we had that original base of tech that we started with in, let's say 99, 2000 or 2002, 2003, the adaptability to all the inputs came in faster.
Right.
The same way when you're looking at today machine learning or AI, everybody will tell you it's as good as the data that you have. But if I was ahead of it and I have 10 years of data now because of the processes and the systems we're doing, I can adapt to AI that much faster than now trying to jump into AI without having data.
Absolutely.
It's the people, the team that you build, be it in the tech world, be it in the operational world. The 1,50,000 farmers, to build the trust in them will come down to 600 people procurement team that we operate.
And as a visionary of Viksit Bharat, to realize India's dreams of becoming a developed nation by 2047, which is 100 years of independence, where do you see dairy sector and Dodla for that matter contributing in that growth journey and the growth path?
I look at it as saying if our IT world could become global, if the pharmaceutical world could become global, what prevents us from becoming global? We are the world's largest producer of milk. We have the best technology in terms of the processing abilities, in terms of automation, connectivity. The talent that we have within the sector is large. Like how we can claim as much as having these globally large CEOs running large entities. In the dairy sector, we have enough of Indian diaspora running significantly large operations. It's the human talent that is there in the industry itself, if you take it. And also the complexities that we handle in a country like India, from what we were 30 years ago to what we are today, from a farmer giving 3 liters of milk a day to 1,50,000 farmers. If I go anywhere in the world, the same amount of 1,50,000 farmers can come to me with 1,000 farmers, whether it's far more easier to handle the 1,000 farmers than it is to handle 1,50,000 farmers. Every generation, every time will always have opportunities that come and new things that come. it's not necessary that you have to look at only the old school things, like the world you picked up in terms of machine learning, AI, and other things that have come up now. I look at it as in the dairy industry. I do not know much about outside the dairy industry. There are a lot of youngsters who come with online platforms which are trying to innovate in terms of technology. Don't try to copy the old and try to say, I'll repeat what is done. But like everybody says, India is now time for us to move into R&D, product development, which were not of the earlier days. So there is n number of opportunities that come up in the system, and to pick on them and to work on them. Only grouse that I have is, don't think of making quick money. That doesn't work. That's all I talk about.
Wonderful. I think we'll end on that nugget of wisdom. Thank you very much, Mr. Reddy, for taking time out.
And I once again thank TV9 and SAP for giving me this opportunity to be on your show. Thank you.
Next meet Lion Dr. Y. Kiran, CEO of Suchir India, a trailblazer reshaping India's real estate and infrastructure landscape with innovation, sustainability and purpose.